Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Thursday. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video as well as all our other videos. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Big Red Zone. And as always, tell a friend. This week, Danny Football is back. Good to have him back on the pod. We're going to talk about some of the games from this NFL week. We're going to talk about some MLB free agency updates, Celtics, and USA losing the World Cup. So we'll get Danny Football's full breakdown of that in the World Cup so far. All that and more on this week's episode of Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I am joined by Danny Football.
Big Red, how are we doing?
Danny Football, I was lost without you, man. I was lost without you. It's good to have you back.
We're back
the
on the
listeners,
pod and we're back on video too. This is
back on video. It's
we
good
got
to see
all
your
the
face.
returns right now.
We just had so many wins at the beginning of this podcast. We got the audio working, we got camera working, we got Danny Football back. It's just a perfect night, perfect day. I was gonna say the listeners just heard me ramble to myself last week. I don't know, I hope you guys liked the last week's episode. It was another first in Big Red Zone. It happened in the final week. It was just Big Red. Big Red just had inner thoughts of Big Red for the whole week. So, but it's great to have you back on the podcast. Last time I saw you, it was pre-Thanksgiving. Everyone do you have a nice Thanksgiving? Nice
Good Thanksgiving. We talked about it. It was the first Thanksgiving with the ladies, so we had to we broke down that game plan. I went in there, executed, stuck to the game plan, kept the ball in front of me, secure the ball, keep the third down short, don't go for any home runs. Play it safe. We got in, we got out. It was a good Thanksgiving overall.
Stay within. Worry about what you can control.
Weren't extending, weren't scoreboard watching, Yeah. Destiny was on our own hands. You got to take care of the ball.
Yeah. Do the little things. Execute the little things.
It was a lot of, a lot of power formation, run the ball up the middle.
Yep.
Think and dunk. No long passes. We're playing smart football.
We're not playing hero ball here. We're running it right up the middle, taking what the defense gives you.
Absolutely. Wear the defense down.
Yeah. And as always, I hope, as you said, play at home. You got to play at home a little bit. Went on the road, but
went on the road first, executed and did what we had to do, and then we got back to the home game and
won that home game back to take home the title.
Easy work.
Yeah. Get back the home field advantage for the end of the night. Absolutely. I like it. I love it. Yeah, I'm happy to hear. I know it was a big one. It was a big first one.
Big test.
So, hey, but you handled like a seasoned vet.
As always, got to. I had my OC ready. He was good to go.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy to hear that it was a successful Thanksgiving. I talked about it last week on the pod a little bit. We're now beginning week 2 of the basketball season, Danny Football. Pumped for Coach Red. Coach Red is into week 2, and I'm very excited. I'm having a lot of fun.
How are the boys looking this year?
Squad's looking good. Looking good. First game is coming up. We had a scrimmage Saturday. Varsity had a scrimmage Saturday. We have another scrimmage Thursday, and then the week after that's game 1, and then it's we're off to the races.
Here we go.
Season starts to fly by. So I'm excited. I think we have a good group, so I'm excited.
Back on the sidelines.
Do what we do.
To go.
Oh, it's the most wonderful time of the year, Danny Football. That's what that song is about.
Bob Knight, love to hear that.
Oh man, I can't wait to get after it. I'm very excited. Already testing the mind, watching some film, coming up with some late game things to pull out of the bag of tricks. I got a couple in my bag that's new this year, so we're gonna see if we can execute them and see what we can do. So
are we done with the actual basketball season or playing?
What do you mean?
playing basketball?
You know what? I got one more game tonight. I'm almost done with all my leagues. I'm taking the season off to focus on the guys. It was too much in the fall.
There we go.
Playing
Okay.
played 5 days in a row, different leagues. Almost out of. I'm in one more, and then with that, and it's tonight, and then I don't think I'm going to be able to make the next 2
5
Mondays.
games a week.
I would play from Sunday to Thursday.
Oh my God, dude. I play soccer once a week, and that's enough for me. My God.
Yeah. And I'm going all over the state of Massachusetts, going to Raynham, Swansea,
God,
West
Jesus
Bridgewater,
Christ.
Taunton.
Good
It
for
was
you,
all
man. I didn't know you were that. I didn't know you were that deep in the game. Holy shit.
I was. We made a couple deep runs. We had in the Taunton one, we made it to the semis, OT, and we lost in overtime. We were down like 5 with like 45 seconds left. My boy Manny hits a big 3. We get a stop. We foul, come down, we foul. They miss a free throw. They foul us. Manny makes the first free throw, and your boy got a nice rebound to put back up to tie the game.
There it is.
So it was a big time. But we ended up losing in overtime, so that was tough. It was tough. 2-minute overtimes, not long enough.
It's all right. You got to free basketball, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, and we were the 4 seed. Nothing to lose. We had to play the 1 seed. Nothing to lose.
Money.
And I will say they went on to win the championship, and they blew out the team in the finals. So I'm glad that we gave them more of a game in the semis. I think we would have. I like to think that we would have blown out the next team. So
hold your head high, kid.
Yep. What are you gonna do? So the other team's not so great. So taking the time off, rest up the body, train
there
up
we go.
in practice.
Management.
Yeah, and then we'll focus on the kids, try to help them get some W's, and come back in the spring ready to go. I'll probably will only join like 2 or 3.
Maybe coaching will help your overall game.
You know what?
Different perspective.
It helped every year. It helps a little bit because I get to get some shot. I put up a bunch of shots up every week and
sharpens the mind.
Yeah, get a little more in shape. Today I was getting after it, playing a little defense.
There we go. All right.
I was tired. I'm out of shape.
So show those young guns how it's done.
I got to teach them a few tricks. Teach the young kids a few old dog tricks. You know what I mean? So, but very excited to get back on the sideline. So, without further ado, let's get into it on our first segment of the night, weekend recap.
It's the weekend recap.
So for weekend recap, we picked 3 games from the NFL week, one being the Patriots game. First up, I really didn't even want to talk about this game, but I feel like we have to. The Browns versus the Texans. Everyone knows it's Deshaun Watson's first game back in the NFL in 2 years. He sat out that first season because he was trying to get a better contract. This year, he's been out because he was suspended for the allegations. Needless to say, not too many Deshaun Watson fans out there. And I'll tell you, people were saying, should I start him in fantasy football? I had a lot of people asking that. A lot of fantasy football websites had them listed as a low-end quarterback 1. I didn't trust it. His first game in 2 years, he stunk. He was absolutely terrible.
He was throwing darts to his old team. That was crazy.
To be fair, it's the first time he played a game outside of a Texans uniform, so maybe he was just looking at people with Texans uniforms saying, man, I got to hit this guy. Let's give him a benefit of the doubt on that one. But he stunk, dude. He is garbage. And I have to say, Texans won't do that. First of all, they don't have. I mean, the Browns won't do that. They don't have the stones to sit him. I know they don't, and they don't. Basically, they don't have the stones to sit him because of.
I mean, the sad thing is that the defense and special teams completely
they carry.
Completely their ass.
But my thing is, they won't do it because of his contract and who he is. They're not going to sit because of all the crap they've done.
Too much money.
Yeah, so they have to start him. But I'd honestly rather see Jacoby do it. Jacoby did a great job at the beginning of the season.
My man walked out there, went 12 for 22, 131, threw a pick, and his QBR was 28.6.
Yeah,
could
he
do that.
stinks.
I
Yeah.
could do that. And you could pay me a lot
The
less
other
money to
team.
do it.
And then I look at last week, even though they lost to the Ravens, Jacoby Brissett, 250 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Let's see the week. No, sorry, that was a couple weeks against when they beat the Bucks just last week. 210 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Like the team was kind of succeeding with him at quarterback. I know it wasn't anything special, but without him, they were 4-7, which isn't good. But like, I don't know. I think that I just think he stinks. He's not worth having. He's not worth the headache. They've invested too much in him, so they have to kind of ride him. But if anyone was wondering if Deshaun Watson was going to come out and like set the world on fire, you are absolutely wrong. He stinks, and he got bailed out because his defense was good. And defense scored a touchdown, and his special team scored a touchdown. That's who won the game for them, not offense.
Right.
Which is surprising because he has such a loaded offensive team. Like the offense is loaded. Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, like they have a good offense, and it's bad that they can't get anything going. You said it best: 131 yards and a pick, no touchdowns. Like that's embarrassing. The only thing that's worse is if you're a Texans fan, because their team is just awful.
I mean, they are heading towards 2 top 10 picks, so there is a silver lining.
Well, that's what I had in the notes. I mean, the one thing they got going for them, they got two things going for them. One is Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce looks legit. Like they look like they hit on that pick. And they got 2 top 10 picks. And this quarterback, they need a quarterback. I mean, they're trotting out there Kyle Allen and Davis Mills for the beginning of the season, but Kyle Allen for the second half of the year. That's not going to get the job done. So luckily, I think they should have the first pick in the draft right now, if I'm not mistaken. They have to. They're 1-10 and 1. So the good thing is they're going to get that quarterback.
They do have the 1 pick, yes.
So they're going to be able to get that quarterback, any quarterback in the draft, and they'll be able to get a wide receiver if they wanted to, or a defensive player with that second top 10 pick. So there is a silver lining, like you said. They can rebuild through the draft this year and try to gain some pieces. I think they need a quarterback first and foremost. And then the next thing is like you start, all right, do we go on defense or do we get what we've seen how valuable young star wide receiver is for a young quarterback. Maybe they draft a wide receiver. So it is interesting. We'll have to see come draft time, but they have to be thinking quarterback here with that first pick in the draft.
Gotta think. But yeah, very interesting game between the Browns and Texans there.
Yeah, and main thing is Deshaun stunk. That was my main takeaway. That's what I have in my notes. They had Deshaun stinks. We'll see. Maybe he'll prove us wrong in the next game. I don't think so, but maybe he'll prove us wrong. Next game, we got Chiefs versus Bengals. It's a huge AFC matchup. Could be the AFC Championship matchup.
Rematch of last year's AFC Championship game.
It indeed was. And the Bengals get the better of the Chiefs again.
Again, 3 wins within a calendar year.
That's mighty bad. The Chiefs can't be happy. They must circle this game on the calendar when they play in the playoffs that come this year if they play them again. But Bengals come back to win 27-24. The Bengals defense impressed me. They held Patrick Mahomes to only 223 yards and a touchdown. They kind of took him out of the game. They took Travis Kelce completely out of the game. Who people were trying to say is the best tight end in football. But they took him out of the game. And this is a huge win. It's like polar opposites. This is a huge win for the Cincinnati Bengals because it definitely helps their playoff hopes. And it is a crucial loss to the Chiefs because now they're the 2 seed. They don't have the bye. They don't have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. And this is now they're going to have to try to get that game back in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, you have it here in the notes. Chiefs fall to the 2 seed. Buffalo moves up to 1. Baltimore, a game behind both of them. Tennessee, 2 games behind. and then this game right here propelled Cincy to the 5 seed. So, and they're tied with Baltimore for the lead for first place in the Central. So, a lot can change before this regular season's over. The seeding can change, and this could end up being a very pivotal game. Whether it's whether we look back and say this is the game that the Bengals used to leapfrog their way up, or this is when the Chiefs started their slide down, or if it comes down to both teams, it's hey, the Bengals got ahead of the Chiefs because of this game, or the Chiefs just barely missed out on because of this game. It was a big game, and this is a Chiefs team that you and I have been talking about as, are they pulling away from the pack? And this kind of brought them back down to earth. I mean, the Bengals, who we were all kind of worried about Super Bowl hangover, or they're not showing up. They show up in arguably their biggest game of the season right now, beat Pat Mahomes, and now we're going to wonder, is this going to hurt the Chiefs in the long run? So I'll ask you this. Do you think the Chiefs are still ahead of the rest of the AFC, or do you think now it's just one big kind of pack?
I do think they are at the top of the pack. I still may prove me otherwise when it comes down to it. If you're telling me who am I taking, I think I'm still leading Patrick Mahomes, but I think this brings the Bengals into that conversation. This win, like I think it's more about, do I think the Chiefs are above the pack, still above the pack? I do, but I think this helps prove that the Bengals should be in that conversation with. It's not only just the Chiefs and the Bills that we talk about. It should be the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals. Like I think it's one of those three teams coming out of the AFC, and then it's everyone else. Like I'm looking at the AFC top teams, like the Ravens. Depending on how Lamar, I think the Bengals could take over the Ravens for the top pick for the win the NFC North. I'm not worried about any team that comes out of it looks like the Titans, but I'm not worried about the AFC South. If the Chargers somehow find a way in there, I'm not too concerned about them. The Dolphins are an interesting one. Team, like they already beat the Bills once, but I think they're in that next tier down. I'd still take the Bengals over the Dolphins. And then it's like, everyone else, the Jets, the Chargers, the Pats. And that's pretty much it.
They're very clearly not elite teams.
Yeah, it's very, very clear that they have a chance to make the playoffs, but that's it. Like they're not going to do anything else. So I think you're right. I think people got to start looking at this Chiefs team and maybe start to be concerned. But is Kelsey going to be held to 56 yards and 4 catches again? I don't think so. It could happen, but I think the odds are that he's going to be more in the middle where he's going to have that touchdown, the 70 to 100 yards. I think it's pretty clear that that's going to happen. I think they're just too good. But the Bengals, the reason I love this Bengals team so much is they're doing this all without Joe Mixon. Like Sam Pirine has come in and just dominated the running back. So now they got a 2 running back tandem. Joey Burrow is elite. I think people just like to rip on him. He's just so good. And Jamar Chase comes in after fracturing his hip and finishes the day with 7 catches and 97 yards, including one of those plays that he leapfrogged over a defender. He does not look like he's playing with a hurt hip. Like I know even Jack Moran said, let's wait to see how he does after coming back from a hip injury. He looks fine. So I think this Bengals team, I'm excited because I was a little nervous in the beginning of the season. We both were that they kind of looked bad. I want to see them in the Super Bowl again, and I really want to see them win it this year. They're my favorite team. Like for me, not to win it, but like I love the Bengals. I think I'd love to see them win a Super Bowl.
I'd agree with you on the Bengals. I mean, I picked the Bills to go to the AFC Championship game and then get to the Super Bowl, but like I said, this could be a huge turning point for them, so I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills and Bengals both get there, and if the Bengals, if they're hot enough, they could definitely do this if they have the talent.
Yeah, I actually like what you just said. Like if they're get hot, I mean, we've been talking about it. I mean, I talked about it by myself, but we talked about it together. Like last week, I was saying the Bills are I don't know what's happening with the Bills. I mean, we'll talk about them in a second with beating up on the Patriots, but before this week, I mean, they looked bad. They did not look good at all. Like, even some of their wins looked ugly. And same thing, like, now we're talking about the Chiefs. I mean, the Bengals look to just keep getting better and better every week. When some of these other teams are kind of stalling. So the Bengals are hot. That they could definitely make a run at it. It also makes my faith in the Patriots playoff hopes next to nothing, because on December 24th, when we play the Bengals at home, I don't like our odds, especially after watching how these two teams played. So, like you said, this could end up being a monumental game for both teams. We'll have to see how it plays out down the stretch. Now, let's get to the Bills-Pats game. I said it last week, and to myself, this is going to be a huge game for both teams. The Bills were kind of wavering. The Pats were, they lost a tough one to Minnesota, but in general, I thought they didn't deserve to win the game, but I thought they played well enough to win the game. They got screwed in a couple calls. A couple plays didn't go their way down the stretch. Their defense didn't help them. Their special teams was awful. But the offense looked good, and that was the one thing I felt good about, because I said the defense is going to kind of figure it out a little bit better. And, they're not going to play like they did against the Vikings. Special teams should be better. So if the offense can just stay the same or get better, I think they'll have a good chance to beat the Bills at home. They looked absolutely terrible. It was an embarrassing game. It was worse than the Jets game that we won, because at least we won the Jets. It was just an embarrassing game for us. They lost 24-10. I was in attendance. It was a freezing, miserable night. It was fun with the missus, if the missus is listening. It was just a miserable night. There was classic Pats fans. There was fights going on with the Bills fans.
Oh my
God. It was a lot of Bills fans at a Patriots game, which is kind of embarrassing. Bills Mafia kind of took over Gillette. That's embarrassing. There was people going berserk in the parking lot. Took 2 hours to get out of the parking lot. It was just a miserable night all around. And on top of that, the Patriots looked terrible. They look like they'd rather be anywhere else. And Big Red almost got in an argument with people. I kept my control. I kept my composure. But if I heard one more time from the people around me, put Bailey Zappi in, I was going to lose my mind. I finally said something after Mac threw a dart to Devontae Parker in the end zone and he dropped it. I said, would that have made a difference if Zappi threw that ball? Would have he magically caught it? Would the defense not given up 24 points?
Bailey Zappi, I hate to say it, Bailey Zappi's not turning that game around.
No. Is he going to stop Stephon Diggs from getting 7 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown? No, he's not going to make any difference. The only difference he makes is Matt Patricia, for some reason, makes simple play call or better play calling for Bailey Zappi. That's the only difference. Matt Patricia is the problem. And I've said the same thing for now a month, every week on this podcast. And it's annoying that I have to keep defending Mac Jones, who I didn't even want the Patriots to draft in the first place, that I got to defend this kid. We're willing to just give up on him. I don't understand it. And I hope he leaves us now. I hope we trade him away and he becomes the greatest quarterback of all time. And I hope he does, because we deserve it, because we stink as a fan base. We're just so what's the word? We're so spoiled. We're so spoiled. It's like this kid, you have guys dropping balls. You have the Bills taking out his best receiver in Jacoby Myers. You have his favorite running back there. He doesn't have an elite pass catcher. Hunter Henry's dropping balls. You have Matt Patricia can't call an offense. They need to stick him in a desk somewhere in the front office and never to be seen from again. It's just, what do you think was going to happen? I don't, and everyone thinks Bailey Zappi is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. He's not Tom Brady. It's not going to happen twice.
No.
I'm just so fed up.
My big question was going to be, what was the general vibe of the crowd there at Gillette, and if it was of frustration and, hey, I'll put Bailey Zappi in, then we as a fan base have devolved horribly in these last couple of years. Like, if we're that down bad, I shudder to think what's going to happen over these next couple of years. I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. The offense looked pitiful. Our lone touchdown was scored by a cornerback. Matt Patricia can't call the offense. I don't know if you saw the comments today, but Bill said he's not willing to make a change during the season. He said it's too hard to do that. I completely disagree. I would have fired Matt Patricia the day after that game. If Matt Patricia can call offensive plays, anyone can. So it's not like you need to find a suitable replacement. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia sucks. He needs to be done. I don't want to see him doing this anymore. Bailey Zappi is not going to magically fix this team. Mac Jones is not the problem, but I do shudder to think that we have completely just shot his confidence this year.
Yeah.
So I think there could be a horrible domino effect going forward. I don't know what Bill was thinking with the Matt Patricia, install him as OC idea, but for Bill Belichick to get so cocky as to have Patricia be the OC, completely change the offense, bench start, and then bench his quarterback. I think Bill played a very dangerous game this year. I think it all blew up in his face, and I'm really worried about where this is going to lead.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you asked me a couple weeks ago with Matt Patricia how bad he was, I would have just said, like, make Bill be in his ear about every play call, but you don't have to publicly say Matt Patricia's fired. I'm at a point where you got to move on from
You have
it.
to
Like,
fire him, dude. You have to fire him.
he's not going to fire him, but at least move him to somewhere else. Say has nothing to do. Make him a scout. Make him a person that helps with the contracts because he's his boy. He's a loyal follower of Bill. He's never going to fire him, but he can transfer him to an office job that has nothing to do with the football team day to day.
I just should
I
not
would
be
fire him too. I would.
No, but you're right. Even if he shouldn't be responsible for anything that goes on that football field.
No. The only thing you can say is, like, okay, maybe he takes over. He's an assistant.
He could be a defensive consultant. I don't even want you calling the defensive plays. At the very least, just be like, I think this guy is good at defense. Fair enough, Matt. We'll take a look at him. Other than that, you're not calling formations, you're not calling plays, you're not calling substitutions, nothing.
Yeah, he needs to be in. The other guy that just stinks is Joe Judge. Get him out of here. Joe Judge is the quarterback coach, and he stinks. The people on his team don't even like him.
I feel like you mentioned this in the offseason. Like, if you wanted to get the band back together, Patricia at DC, at least he knows defense. Joe Judge is special teams coach. He knows special teams. These guys should be doing what got them to the dance. This should not be, all right, well, Joe Judge, you are a head coach, so now you'll be the quarterback coach. All right, Matt, you are a coach, so now you'll be OC. It makes no sense. If a guy's strength is defense, he's a defensive coach. If his strength is special teams, put him as a special teams coach. There should be no flip-flopping. Oh, well, we don't have an OC, so I'll make it Matt. We don't have a quarterbacks coach, so it'll be Joe Judge. We still don't have a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. It's Jerome Mayo for the most part, all intents and purposes.
But Bill will never admit that. So
yeah.
I don't understand what Bill's philosophies are. I don't know what his plan is with this completely ambiguous coaching staff. And he has really dropped the ball this year. It's bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think people have said it is Mac. People saying Mac isn't the answer or he's failing. I'd argue that the Patriots are failing him. It's like he's put in a terrible situation, and people forget this is his second year of professional football. And you think he's going to be this veteran Tom Brady-esque player that is going to be able to make lemons out of crap. That's what you think, lemonade out of crap. That's what you think he's going to be able to do. And I do think that, do I think the offensive weapons around him are better than some of the years we had Tom Brady? Yeah, I think Devontae Parker is a huge step up. Myers is a huge step up. Hunter Henry, Juanu, Kendrick Bourne, which when they get for some reason they Matt Patricia, that shows how bad Matt Patricia is. He still doesn't want to get Kendrick Bourne involved in the offense. It's like I think in the running back situation is better. The guy that's tearing this team down, and I will argue it to anyone that will listen, is Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia should not be allowed in the offensive side of the building in the Patriots headquarters. He should not be allowed to even pick up a playbook of offense, like any playbook imaginable. He should not be in there. And he is the reason why people say that people are saying we got the new Tom Brady and Mac Jones less than 12 months ago. I feel like people are looking at me like I'm a crazy person when people say, "Oh, we need to get rid of Mac, trade Mac away." And the other rumor is, forget about Bailey Zappi. Someone comes out with this because we have so much cap space. Let's re-sign Tom Brady. Let's really get the band back together, and Tom's gonna fix all of this. It's like you put Tom Brady in this situation. Look what he's doing in Tampa, and his team is way better than it is in New England. It's like, do you think Tom Brady's gonna? Do you think if Tom Brady?
Unless Tom Brady is the first player OC in league history, I don't know how he fixes this.
Let me put
Unless
it
you
into
literally say, Tom, you just go out there and call the plays on the fly, brother. I mean, Matt Patricia's gonna find a way to fuck that up.
which, to be fair, Tom could do that. Tom could be like, "Hey,
1,000,000%.
we're gonna run this play." Matt Patricia.
If you told me Tom Brady's going to go out there and audible every single play because he doesn't trust Matt Patricia, please do.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I feel like Mac he's too young to do that. He doesn't have the
No, Matt can't do that. No.
Yeah, so like Tom, I feel like would be the type of guy that Matt calls a play and he's like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
No,
All right,
I
guys,
would
we're
hope
gonna.
I would hope Tom would take one look at that play sheet and be like, "This all sucks."
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Mac Jones was saying that after the game. He literally said, we need to throw the goddamn ball."
I love that. I loved when he was saying, and I was yelling it too. I mean, we were doing well passing the ball. He wasn't getting any the times that we weren't getting things done on like in the passing game was either his offensive line blown coverage, which guess who's in charge of the O line, and it was times when it was like 3rd and like 20 where after we got a holding call or something and we had to like get a first down to like stay in the game. So he was going for the big play. It's like he was extending plays. He was getting out of the pocket and extending plays. I think he needs to try to look. The one thing I would like Mac to do a little more is try to run it a little more. If he has so much open space, go run, like get 10 yards and kneel down. He doesn't, he sometimes tries to do it too much with his arm, but the times that he, like, at the end of the half, people were yelling at him because he didn't like try to get like 10 yards and slide down. But there was 11 seconds left when he threw the ball away. There was no way they were all going to get up to the line and snap and spike the ball. So I understood that. And at the end of the game, he was just trying to get points. You can't fault him for that. And if Devontae Parker could catch a ball in the end zone, we would have had 7 points. But I don't know. This season's totally lost. I think I'm looking at. I know a couple weeks ago, going into Thanksgiving, when we were talking, we felt optimistic to get. What are they, 6-6?
Yeah.
We thought they could win 4 or 5 games. I don't see it. We got Cardinals and Raiders on the road. Maybe you beat the Raiders, maybe you don't. We get the Dolphins, they're gonna beat us. The Cardinals, maybe we beat them, maybe we don't. Bengals are gonna beat us. Dolphins, I think, are gonna beat us, and the Bills.
You need to go 4-1 just to finish 10-7, and
I don't see it happening.
You're splitting hairs trying to get 4 wins out of that run.
You're telling if you get 4 wins,
Cardinals should be a win on paper because they're a bigger dumpster fire than you are. Raiders is going to be a game. Bengals, I wouldn't say they're going to win. Dolphins, I don't think they're going to win, and Bills are just going to truck you again. So ideally, it's one win, 3 losses, and then a coin flip on the Raiders game.
Yeah,
so at best, it's 2-3. And
yeah,
then you finish the season 8-9.
Yeah, I think that's best case scenario for them at this point. I really don't see it happening. Anytime we have Matt Patricia calling plays, I don't see it happen.
No.
The one thing I will say would be kind of cool to see. Let's play hypothetical game here. Let's say the Pats do sign Tom Brady for 1 year.
Oh my God.
For the 1 year or
So
two,
what?
like
Oh,
the
go
end
ahead.
his
I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
end his season. Yeah, end his career with the New England Patriots. It would be quite a story because Bill, and that means it's a rekindling of Bill and Tom. They kind of like, let's work together one last time. Maybe they go out together. They retire together. They get one more chance at a ring together. Because I think Tom definitely ups your chances of winning a ring. I think there's definitely something there. Still, even at his age. And you actually get to train Mac Jones for a year with the best to ever play the game. Now, here's the question. Do you trade Mac Jones if you sign Tom Brady?
You have to. My point was gonna be, if you bring in Tom Brady, you can't keep Mac Jones because, in my eyes, Mac Jones is now thinking, you benched me for Bailey Zappi. You kind of screwed my confidence there, and now you're completely giving up on me by bringing Tom Brady back,
Yeah.
which is essentially getting back with your ex-girlfriend. That's exactly what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
saying, hey, you've been fun, but we're going back to what we know. You can't. There's zero chance Mac Jones has any intentions of staying with the Patriots if they bring back Tom Brady. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to have to trade him, and you don't
Yeah.
have leverage at that point.
Yeah. It's. I would love to bring Tom Brady back, like I said, on either a 1-day contract, have him retire a Patriot. That's the only way I would bring. You know
Right,
what
we
I
can
mean?
do that, but if Tom Brady wants to come back and say, "Hey, let's get the band back together one more season," you can do it, but you're gonna have to trade your young quarterback and just start all over again.
Yeah. And then if that's the case, then Bailey Zappi is your future quarterback
He
because
is, which
I
is,
think
if that's a road you want to go down, you can, but
I think you have something in Mac. I still believe in Mac Jones. I really do. I think mentally he has a good head on his shoulders. He's the devil I know, which is better than the devil I don't in Bailey Zappi. Even though Zappi looked good, he played the Lions and what was the other team he played?
Cleveland, right?
Like, yeah, it might have been the Browns, which the Texans just put up like 20 points against the Browns. So like, let's
Yeah, it was Lions Browns.
so I don't know. I think it's crazy that we're even debating this. We're willing to get rid of our first round pickup 2 years ago, who actually has given us no reason to question him.
Led us to the playoffs last year.
He led us to the playoffs after 1 year of out. I mean, I didn't see people. You know what the craziest part about this whole thing is? Mac Jones, a first round. I do want to move on, but a first round quarterback of less than 2 years ago. People are willing to give up on him more than people were willing to give up on Cam Newton. Can you believe that? Like, people were saying start Cam Newton to start. I was one of them. I said start Cam Newton to start the year and then go Mac Jones halfway through the year. And I was fine with it, but I was like, let's let Cam get another kick of the can for like at least the start of the year. People wanted Cam to start even after the year he had, and they want to give up on Mac. I'm just blown away. I really am. I don't get it. I really don't. And it's, if you want to judge it based on Matt Patricia and how he's called the plays, fine. But you're gonna have to find me. There's a short list of quarterbacks that I think would have succeeded this year in the same circumstances as Mac. And Bailey Zappi is not one of those quarterbacks. All right. You got me all frazzled, Danny Football. Let's move on to our next segment, Picks of the Week.
Picks of the week.
So for Picks of the Week, we pick one game from the NFL week. We say who we think is going to win. I had another win last week. I am 11-1. To even us up on games, I'm going. Danny Footballs is going to pick 2 this week to even it out. Do you want to give your first game?
I'm gonna go Vikings over Lions. Just get back on the board.
I like it. I like it. Vikings possible Super Bowl threat. Saying it now. Been saying it, but saying it again. I'm gonna go. I'll jump in the middle there to break yours up. I'm gonna go Bengals over Browns. I think Deshaun is gonna be better next week. As much as I just ragged on him, I think he is gonna get a little bit better. But to go up against the Bengals defense that's played so well at home, Joey Burrow, Jamar Chase. Hopefully they get Mixon back, but even if they don't, P. Ryan's looking good. I think the Bengals are just going to roll. And I think like you said, they got a big game last week. I think they're going to just use that as momentum to go through the end of the season. So Bengals over Browns.
There we go. I'll close it up with Chargers over Dolphins. A little closer game.
Ooh.
See what we can get out of there. I think the Dolphins may be starting a little bit of a slide themselves. So see if Justin Herbert can get it done.
Do you like the Dolphins coach?
I'm a little back and forth on him. It seems like he's pretty self-aware and that he kind of lets his guys cook, but he kind of seems like he's trying a little bit too hard. But that could just be me.
I go back and forth on him too. That's why I asked you, because I like
some clips. I'm like, oh, he's just being personable, and then sometimes I'm like, does he know the cameras are on him and he's just like playing up? I don't know.
He seems like he's like I can't tell if he's just like a dude. Like he seems like a guy that like is coaching Madden. That's what he seems like. He's like
A little bit.
I don't know, but he just something's weird. I don't know what it is. Something's weird about him. I don't know what it is, but I'm the same way. I go back and forth on him. Let's move on to waiver pickups. Last week I went with a nice day of football. I don't think saw, but I went with the Jets rookie running back that they got. He had a good week last week too. That I forget his name now. It doesn't matter, but he's a Knight. Yeah, he had a good week last week too. But I'm going with Darius Slayton. He's only rostered in 33% of leagues, so he's out there. And six catches on 8 attempts, and 90 yards. I started him actually in another league last week. I saw he was available, so I picked him up and played him in my flex, and that ended up being pretty good. So definitely worth throwing him on the roster if you have a chance to get him. So Darius Slayton.
Nice. I'm gonna go James Cook. Owned in 25.3. Coming off a really good week, 14 attempts for 64 yards rushing, 6 receptions for 41 yards receiving. Again, it's against the Patriots, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you're looking for a little bit of depth heading into the playoffs, you might as well load up on James Cook.
He had a good day. Definitely had a good day. Moving on. Let's get into some baseball. We haven't talked baseball in a while. Today was great. We had breaking news, and we had a little bit of free agent breaking news yesterday or the day before. But today, Verlander signs with the Mets. He's leaving the Astros to go to the Mets. Mets are kind of loading up on the pitching front the last couple years. First of all, he gets to rekindle his with his old teammate Max Scherzer. They're kind of building something special in that starting rotation. Also, they have Dave Griffin waiting in the wings, ready to come up and pitch with the bright lights. I'm telling you, Dave Griffin as my 5th starter. I'm not too disappointed.
There we go.
But that's a big signing for the Mets. All seriousness, that's a huge signing for the Mets. I think it's 2 years. I think it's a 2-year deal.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
So short-term deal, and I think he's going to help them a lot. DeGrom, another big name, goes to the Rangers. Rangers are kind of building something special down there. They've spent some big money in the last couple of years.
They have that good middle infield now with Simeon and who's the shortstop? Is it
Seager?
Yeah.
So they're building something special. The Rangers could start putting together some wins if everyone can stay healthy. But the big one that kind of bothers me is someone that's not signed, and that's Xander Bogaerts. I'll be so happy when this is all over. I'm going to be disappointed if he's not on the Red Sox, but I can't take all these rumors anymore, man. Like Xander's in, Xander's out. The Red Sox are in on him. They're kind of offering competitive deals. They're not offering competitive deals. It's literally like I wish we could just know the truth and he could just make a decision and leave or come here. But if the Red Sox fumble the bag on this one, I think this is going to start a real. I've said it before. I think this is going to start a real big spiral for this organization, and I'm nervous that we won't be able to recover from it if they don't get him on the team.
Yeah, my big thing is that Trey Turner got. It's looking like he's gonna get 11 for 300 million from the Phillies. So
That's good for us because that's one
is.
big team off the board.
It is, and then it kind of sets the market for Xander. So I don't know what Xander's looking for in terms of years. I can't imagine it's 11. So if he's looking for maybe a little bit less on years, obviously the annual average kind of lowers itself there. But I'm right there with you, man. Like we've seen this play out countless times, whether it was John Lester, you pay Story last year, you trade Mookie for peanuts. I don't know if you saw this. Franchy Cordero's not even with the franchise anymore. He's with Baltimore. So that's a piece of that trade that is just moot. Or no,
I saw
he
that
was part of the
Worcester
Benintendi trade.
said.
I take that back.
Why did he leave? Did he just get traded or Franchi?
I don't think we renewed his minor league contract. So he was just gone.
That's nuts.
He was part of the Benintendi trade, so I take that back. But regarding the Mookie Betts, like you trade Mookie Betts for nothing. We have Alex Verdugo, he's great, but Jeter Downs is trash. To let Xander Bogaerts walk at this point, you already said it, is a huge step back. I mean, sure, you move Trevor Story over to shortstop, you sign a second baseman, you call up a second baseman, whatever it may be. But that's just a huge hole in the clubhouse, man. Like, this guy has been here his entire career. He's won championships here. I don't know how you possibly let another homegrown talent walk, but it looks like they have every intent of letting that happen. I don't get me wrong, I'd be the happiest person in Boston if they do re-sign him and prove me wrong, but right now all the signs point towards him leaving, and this Red Sox team is just going to continue to slide down, man, and it's not good.
Yeah, and like I said, the biggest problem is it's sending a message to your homegrown talent that we're not going to pay you, so you might as well leave now.
Devers,
it's like
Bello, all those young kids,
yeah. Devers is probably going to be out the door next year. Bello's going to be on his way out. When Marcelo Meyer, if he turns into something, he'll be out. Tristan Cassis will be out.
Right, just zero faith that you're going to re-sign me.
Yeah. So, and also, like, am I going to really want to re-sign with a team that's letting all these guys go? Like, I don't know. I think I think it would be a total failure not to re-sign Xander Bogaerts because, first of all, I think they should sign Xander Bogaerts regardless. But like I've said before, if they made it reasonable where they said, all right, instead of giving Xander Bogaerts this money, we're giving Aaron Judge this money, or instead of like, you know what I mean? They brought something else in that equal to or more than Xander Bogaerts' value. Then you got to kind of say like, all right, Xander Bogaerts is a little older. He's probably going to be a DH within the next 4 years, I'd guess, right? He's not going to play shortstop, in the next 5 years. Like he's going to be, and that's what his contract's going to be probably too. I'm guessing it's probably going to be 6 or 7 years, right? 5 to 7. Would you say?
I'd say in the ballpark 5, 6, maybe 7.
Yeah. So even call it 6, like happy middle. I would hope Marcelo Meyer's ready to go in.
He would be
3 years.
I mean, we have enough freaking shortstops in the pipeline that we can make that work. So if I'm Chaim Bloom and I'm looking at this, I'm like, all right, let's pay him his money now. We have him for the prime of his career. He plays shortstop, and then when the time finally does come where he can no longer play the position at a high level, we have guys in the pipeline that can play that position. We move him to DH, first base, whatever it may be, and then ride from there, and then figure it out at that point. And then there's nothing wrong with paying that guy whatever he's owed in the last 1 or 2 years. I mean, you're gonna have to eat it anyway.
Right.
I hate the idea that we're gonna let him walk over just semantics and pennies on the dollar for a franchise that's worth billions.
Yeah. It's embarrassing, to be honest with you. It's embarrassing that we're not trying to re-sign this guy.
We're nickel and diming like we're the Pirates.
Yeah. And we have teams like the Rangers who are, for all intents and purposes, dog crap franchises that are spending money to get blue chip free agents such as DeGrom and Seager, and we
Once
can't
upon a
even
time, we would have gotten DeGrom and Seager.
Yeah, bring back Dave Dombrowski. Give me Dave Dombrowski and bring him
Dave
back.
Dombrowski's cooking right now, giving 11 years, 300 to Trey Turner, so he's doing his thing.
He doesn't care. It's not his money. He's just spending whatever he can to get a win.
You hired Dave Dombrowski to do one thing: spend money, burn your farm system, win a championship, and the Phillies damn near did that. So,
but also, like, I think I don't want to. This is another can of worms, so I don't really know if I want to dive into it. But I don't think I think Dave Dombrowski hits on a lot of draft picks he makes. Like I think Brian Bello was one of his draft picks.
Right. Well, the only problem is that you don't see those guys for a couple of years. So
right.
When people look at the AAA and AA teams and they're like, these teams don't have any prospects, it's like, yeah, because they literally all just got signed. Like they're all in low A, high A, whatever it may be. You don't know their name yet. So I understand people, bitching and complaining that we have no one in AA or AAA ready to go. But at the same time, like, you know what you're getting into when you bring this guy in. Like, he's going to trade your prospects, he's going to spend your money, and he's going to give you a chance to win. The Tigers had a couple shots at it, couldn't get it done. Red Sox did get it done, fired him anyway, and now the Phillies got a World Series trip out of it.
Yeah. And not to slam on Heim, because I think Heim did do a good job the first couple of years he was in here. Like that first year that he came in, I don't put the Mookie trade on Heim as much as other people do, because I think that came from John Henry. I think John Henry said we need to trade Mookie Betts. We're not going to re-sign him. Or he said you can let him walk, but we're not re-signing Mookie Betts. I really honestly believe that. But makes Heim a genius. Like, is he get a lot of credit for drafting Marcelo Meyer? I mean, he had to take him. Like, he was the first overall pick in all projections, and he was there at 4. Like, there was no, like, big brain move there to get Marcelo Meyer at 4. Like, it wasn't like Danny outsmarting the Nets to get Jason Tatum at 3. Like, it was, Marcelo Meyer was supposed to go 1. The Red Sox were at 4. No one took Marcelo Meyer. You had to take him at 4. Like, it just, I think people give him a lot more credit than he deserves on that. So, I don't know. I hope he does the right thing and re-signs Xander Bogaerts, but I'm the Red Sox are just annoying the, you know what out of me. I'm really getting ticked off at this.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good.
So, some World Cup news. Last week, Danny Football, I had to carry the weight of the World Cup, which I'm not a big soccer guy,
so have the weight of the world on your shoulders.
I hope I did it justice. Let me know if I did it justice. I hope the fans let me know. But I'm fine. I'm happy to have Danny Football get his expert analysis on this World Cup so far. So give us your breakdown of the USA and also the the World Cup in general.
So the U.S. ends up coming in second in their group. They get the win over Iran to advance to the round of 16. My thoughts on the group stage is the Wales game should have been a win, and you should have been in contention for winning the group and not playing the Netherlands in your group round of 16 game, but it is what it is. So England advances. They beat Senegal. We advanced to play the Netherlands. We lost to the Netherlands 3-1, and the U.S. is out. So as quickly as we came, we left. My overall thoughts are positive in that it was good for this group of kids to get out of the group stage, play in the round of 16, play a really good Netherlands team, but overall there is still a lot of question marks with this team. I'm not sold on Greg Berhalter as the coach. We need a striker. We need a couple more, solid defensive guys. Our goalkeeping is solid, and our midfielders I feel really good about. But we need someone who can score goals. There wasn't a game in this tournament that we scored more than 1 goal. Wales was 1, England 0, Iran we won 1-0, and now we only scored 1 against Netherlands. So we need some goal scorers coming through the pipeline. We're on to 2026. U.S. is hosting that one, so we're going to be having some home field advantage for those games that we'll be playing. Considering the youth of this team, my goal right now, and if for one time we revive the podcast down the line, sometime in 2026, my goal right now is you should be getting through to the quarterfinals in 2026. This is a young group. They got their experience this time around after missing 2018. They got their experience this time around. They got to the round of 16. They played some really good teams, held their own against England. If they can add goal scoring, if they can add a coach that gets a little bit more aggressive with pushing forward and going for goals and going for the kill shot, this team can come into 2026 mature in their athletic prime and really make some noise. It's going to depend on how the group shakes out. If they get into a tough group, then maybe that changes. But this is a U.S. side that should be able to come into a home field advantage in 2026 and get through that round of 16 and get to the final 8. I don't want to say final 4 because that's a huge kind of leap, but this is a team that needs to keep stepping forward, because if we take a step back, then that's going to be even more catastrophic.
Home field advantage in football. Playing some games at Gillette, even.
Gillette's in the running. I don't know. I can't remember when they announced where the sites are, but Gillette is definitely going to be one of them.
Yeah, I have a feeling they'll play. If Bob Kraft has anything to say about it, they'll play some games.
Or maybe he'll get a soccer-specific stadium built for it, and then that's where the Revs can play. Who knows? But
yeah,
I'm sure Gillette will be seeing some sort of kickback for that.
Who do you think is going to win the World Cup? Do you have any
I like
predictions?
France. England's been really impressive. And Brazil has been looking really good. Right now, I'll say France just because they seem like the more complete team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brazil could steal this.
You heard it here first. Brazil or France. Put your money down when you can.
Bet the house.
All right, we're going to get to our final segment of the night, the People's Topic.
It's the People's Topic, baby! People's Topic.
So for People's Topic, you run our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about this week. Up first, this one comes from Polly Prue. Heisman Trophy.
Ooh.
I have no idea.
It's really between Caleb Williams, the quarterback for USC, but the TCU kid Max Duggan had a really good showing against Kansas State. I'm going to lean Caleb Williams, but Max Duggan made a really good, run at it, but I'm going to say Caleb Williams from USC.
Yeah, it usually goes to a bigger school too, so I'm gonna go the USC kid. Ed, this one goes Bills Fever Baby, number 1 in the AFC. I'd like to hear your thoughts and feelings about that standing.
I mean, they're number 1 for now, but that could always change.
Yeah,
I'm not. Football we played, my friend.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks left in the NFL season. Who do the Bills play for the rest of the year? That's a good question here. Let's see. They play the Jets, Dolphins, who have both beat them so far. They play the Bears. They play the Bengals, which is could be an AFC Championship preview or an AFC playoff preview, and the Pats. So I'd say in the last 5 games they got some tough games to play in there. So a lot of division play. So I'm not. Yeah, we'll have to see how they do. This one comes from Paige. Says, miss you guys. Let's hang out soon.
Interesting. A weird tone shift there.
But yeah, she's definitely. I saw Paige the night before Thanksgiving too. At the Thanksgiving Eve night out. And she was saying that she wants to turn a new leaf. So
wow. Okay. All right.
She was she's upset with all the the hard times that she gets from this podcast. So I think it's time that maybe she's trying to turn a new leaf.
All right,
let's turn a new leaf. She also said we should start our own tennis club.
All right, I'll leave that to you two. I'm not much of a tennis guy, but by all means.
A new era in the page People's Topics.
Wow.
Never thought I'd see the day. What else we got? Oh, snap. It's making me nervous. Oh, Danny football. We may be missing our boy Joseph_Celia.
Well, took a week off. That's all right.
I think it's partially on us because partially on me, I should say, because I posted this kind of late. I'll give you his people's topic from last week. We'll see what,
Okay.
because we didn't get your take. It was a Celtics question. We didn't get to talk to the Celtics. So last week he asked, besides Golden State and Milwaukee, who is the biggest threat to the Celtics?
I'd leave the Heat in there. They know us. They know us well, and they play us close. So I'll say the Heat. I'd like to keep the Heat in that conversation. I don't want to start burying them or anything like that yet.
His was Phoenix. So
I'm not worried about anyone on that in the Western Conference. I
yeah.
swear, I'm not worried about anyone in the West.
The only one that kind of made me a little nervous was that if you had to say it was, I'm not really that nervous about them, was the Pelicans. Pelicans have a really good team. They got a very balanced good team. Between Bi, Zion, Josh Hart, but they just have a good team. I really do like that Pelican team, but I wouldn't say I'm scared of them. But I
No,
think that's definitely a team to watch out for. Is more what I would say.
definitely.
But yeah, I agree. I think the Heat. I'm not as concerned about the Heat as um, other teams, but because in my opinion, I don't think you're going to see the Heat unless they're the final seed in the playoffs and we're the one seed. I don't think you'll see them in the postseason. I think they'll lose before the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think we're going to the Eastern Conference
I would
Finals.
love that, but I'm not gonna bury them just yet.
But I went through it last week. I like the Bucks don't even. I mean, that's going to be a tough matchup, but I'm not too concerned
No,
about the
especially with
Bucks.
Brogdon now, I feel a lot better with
Yeah,
having Brogdon off the bench.
yeah, and the Cavs. I'm
Cavs are a
not.
good team, but I don't fear them in a 7-game
Yeah,
series.
yeah, I think they're going to drop off a little bit. Two other people's topics that I'll throw in the mix here. It was said on this podcast a week ago, and let's see if you agree. This Celtics team, I said, is the second best Celtics team in franchise history, only behind the Larry
Wow.
Bird. The Larry Bird was that 86?
Mm-hmm.
Was the 86 year that Bill Walton won the Sixth Man of the Year? Do you agree or disagree?
So you think this is a better team than the '08 team?
I think it clears the '08 team.
Wow. I think the jury is still out just because the season's not over. I think
True.
they're on a really good trajectory right now, like projection wise, probably better than that '08 team, but there's still a lot of basketball to be played. Injuries are always a kind of an X factor. Um, yeah, maybe we could revisit that later in the season. Right now, I don't want to start heaping too much praise on them. Don't get me wrong; they've been playing amazing. They didn't lose a single home game in the month of November, but I don't want to put them on too high of a pedestal just yet. They're getting
Um,
there. They're getting there, but I don't want to do that just yet.
the reason I say that is I like the argument you can make is the '08 team had three superstars on that team. The Celtics have two this year, but if you're looking at it, and this is coming from one of the biggest if not the biggest Kevin Garnett fan and defender you'll ever find. Kevin Garnett was my favorite player watching growing up. He's my favorite player I ever got to watch. He's probably my second favorite player to ever play basketball. He's just an unbelievable. I loved everything about Kevin Garnett, but he was probably the two on that team, and I think Jaylen Brown is a way better two on this Celtics team. And as much as I love Paul Pierce, I think Jason Tatum is better than Paul Pierce. So you have two superstars that could be, you know, if they play the way they've been playing, they may be both on first All NBA teams. Like they're playing at that. I think they're both. Is Jaylen Brown now up over 30 points a game?
I could tell you in 1 second.
He's close.
He's averaging 27, 3 and 7.
It might have been in the last 2 weeks. He's averaging over 30, like close to 30 points a game.
Yeah, he hasn't gone below 26 in the last week.
I just feel like it's such a top level, and we finally have veteran leadership in beside Al, but you have the veteran presence of Brogdon, and I think Blake Griffin is very underrated for his veteran leadership. Like, he's a total different, like, even though he doesn't play, I think he's just a locker room guy, a total locker room
that's
guy.
a guy you
So
have to have. That's Sam Cassell on the 08 team.
right. He's like Sam Cassell. So you're right. I think there's a lot of basketball to be played, and yeah, sure, if injuries happen, then maybe this derails it a little bit. But I just think, like, looking up and down the roster when healthy, this is the second greatest basketball team the Celtics have ever put together. And it's more of a praise to Brad, because Brad's done such a good job.
I like that take.
The other one is I'm trying to see if we can give time for Joseph_Silly to get someone in, but this is my last one. I saw some sad news. There's 2 members of the Baker Mayfield fan club. Baker Mayfield was waived today.
He still has an opportunity to go to the Niners, so I'm not gonna.
That's true.
I won't bury Baker just yet, but it is not looking good for the Baker fan club right now.
Yeah, it's sad. Sad. It's really sad to see, because
hard to see.
Because I think between us two and Jack Moran, I think we were the 3 of the biggest Baker Mayfield defenders over these last few years. So yeah, it's a tough day. Tough day for us. So I'm hoping that next time we talk, he's on the 49ers, or maybe those Texans sign him. I don't know. I don't really see that happen.
I have a feeling he'll at least I have a feeling he'll at least find a QB2, maybe a competing spot somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, everyone hates Mac Jones. Might as well bring him to the Patriots. Maybe he'll play the Patriots. You want to really give that struck a nerve. I really was so upset at that Pats game that they were saying Bailey Zappi. I had to have that conversation so many times this week. So I want to thank you, everyone, for writing in this week. Remember, you can write on our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about. You can also follow us on TikTok at Big Red Zone. Make sure you find us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on this video as well as other videos. You can also hit the notifications bell. Let us know when our new episodes come out. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. It was great to have Danny Football back here. Thank you as always for joining, and have a great week, everyone.